This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appears and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope.
MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, so true, so true. We don't even know what to do anymore because it does not matter who the host is. That is no doubt whatsoever, as we are hanging and banging and doing all the fun stuff there. Wow, that was weird. So there you go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio Big.
Oh, yes, hanging out at Radio Big. I kind of feel like I didn't say that today is Whip 'em Out Wednesday, and it is December the 14th of 2022. Day 348th of the year, and only 17 days left to go. Yeah, believe it or not, only 17 before we see the end of the 2-2 and get to the 2-3. Yeah, I guess that's how this thing's advanced, if you give it some real consideration there. So anyways, how are you? How has it been over the last little bit as you were doing the things that you get to do? You know, doing the thing you do, not to be confused with the Tom Hanks movie. Yeah, you know, that thing you do. So let's talk real quick. A lot of stuff going on yesterday. At least it seemed that way. And I think we need to take some dives into some of those things to talk about. Because, listen, I look around and I go, I'm always amazed on what's going on in this lovely industry that you and I get to participate in. We're a spoke on the wheel. I mean, it'll continue to move forward once you and I are gone. I mean, look at it that way. Sorry to put it that way, but it's the truth. But it's always interesting on the ever-changing environment that we get to speak of. Anyways, with that being said, let's start talking real quick about what the hell was trending yesterday, because I think that that's going to be importante.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, talking about the stuff that was trending. Hashtag Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was trending on Tuesday after a new trailer for the forthcoming animated film dropped. We can talk a little bit more about that if you'd like. Lionel Messi landed on Twitter's top 10 trends yesterday for his record-breaking performance during the World Cup. Dick Van Dyke was trending as Twitter users sent the actor birthday wishes for his 97th birthday. And Mississippi State was trending on the Twitterverse, reacted of the news of the passing of their head football coach. We can talk all about that, about the things that are going on, because that's what we do. We talk about things that are happening. You know, in taking a look around, in taking a look and seeing what's going on inside of the multiverse of ours, what trends are you tending to like right now. If you want to interact with the show, by the way, because I haven't said this in the last little bit, callinradio.com. Yeah, callinradio.com. That'll get you into the boxy-oxy of things, and then we'll get to see what the hell's going on over there and then kind of make a determination on what we're doing next. So, call in radio. You can also look at the visual radio side of the equation if you want to do that. All you have to do is go to radiobig.fm and click on visual radio, or go to Safety FM and click on visual radio if you want to put yourself through that kind of torture. I mean, I get it. I get that you want options. You have the options. And we do hang out on the social media platforms. And like I tell people, if you put anything there, most of the times I don't catch it until after the show. It's just really how it works. And remember, this is our 1 of 3. What does that mean, 1 of 3? This is the Jay Allen of the Morning Show. This is referred to as the Rated R Safety Show aspect, as we do all the fun stuff that we do. And then you can see the transitioning of the show as we do move forward. Listen, I understand that, it's like, why can't you just split it? Well, I don't split it. We kind of just go right, we go all in. We go all in hardcore, because that's the way to do it, just to do it all in one sequence of events, and you have options. Because, listen, we come across the multiverse, meaning that we're streaming on multiple things. We are different platforms, and the different platforms, well, some people pick up the first hour, some people don't, and that's okay. And then hour 2 and 3 are picked up on different platforms. It's kind of a weird thing. But that's some shop talk for you. Anyway, so what do you got planned for next week? Because, the holidays are right there. I mean, they're right there poking at you. Yeah, poking at you just like that. Did you already go shopping? Listen, things are so crazy today that I got stuff going on that I shouldn't even be booking a week before the holiday. So, I don't know. Hopefully you got everything done. I started my shopping after bitching about it last week, or earlier this week, online, because I was like, yeah, I guess it's time to do that. So, I guess that's the stuff. Anyways, let me not bore you with what's going on in my personals. Let's get into what you're here for. You're here to talk about safety in the news and safety, because that's what we do on this show. If not, it would be a different show. And then I'd be wondering why you're here, because then it's like, are you here for the news and safety, or are you here for something entirely different? So let's do this, because I think that this might be the best of all equations to do so. Let's bring in some Mark Mayfield. Let him tell you about what the hell's going on with the news, and then I'll come back and we can talk and hang out. Let's do that.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. The White House is lit up in celebration. On Tuesday evening, the White House was brightened with a rainbow of colors to celebrate President Biden's signing of the Respect for Marriage Act. The bill provides federal protections for same-sex and interracial marriages across the country. Rainbow lights were projected at the signing and are now lighting up the south portico of the building to celebrate the landfall legislation. The disgraced young crypto king is in jail in the Bahamas after learning of the charges against him here in the U.S. Ryan Shook reports.
Federal prosecutors in New York say Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of FTX, stole billions of dollars from customers since 2019 and up until the company collapsed. He faces 8 charges, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud on customers and conspiracy to commit money laundering. He faces 115 years in prison if convicted on all counts. The U.S. is moving to get him extradited, but Bankman-Fried said he may try and fight it. I'm Brian Shook.
The U.S. is planning to send a Patriot missile defense system to Ukraine. Several officials told CNN that an announcement could be made as soon as this week. The plan still needs to be approved by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and signed by President Biden. It's not clear how many missile launchers would be sent to Ukraine. Officials say the defense systems are expected to ship quickly in the coming days, and Ukrainians will be trained to use them at a U.S. base in Germany. Jay Leno is opening up about the car fire that left him with 2nd and 3rd degree burns last month.
The fuel line was clogged, so I was underneath it trying to clog it. And I said, blow some air through the line. Then suddenly, boom, I got a face full of gas. And then the pilot light jumped and my face caught on fire.
Leno has recently returned to performing again. And a child is dead and her mother is missing after tornadoes blew through the northwest corner of Louisiana on Tuesday. The Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office reports at least one person is injured. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News, I'm Rebecca Bundin in Mumbai. US President Joe Biden signs the Respect for Marriage Act into federal law, providing greater nationwide protections for same-sex couples. US lawmakers have unveiled a plan to try and ban the Chinese-owned popular video creation app TikTok. Researchers in the US have achieved an important milestone in recreating nuclear fusion to produce a potentially near-limitless source of clean energy.
Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
A bipartisan group of lawmakers is looking to create a day to honor hostages and wrongful detainees. Lisa Taylor has more.
Republican Senator Marco Rubio and Democratic Senator Chris Coons, along with Republican Congressman French Hill and Democratic Congresswoman Haley Stevens, introduced the legislation. It would designate March 9th as National Hostage and Wrongful Detainee Day. Rubio said creating the day will provide another opportunity to honor individuals like Paul Whelan, Mark Fogel, and the many American citizens who are suffering in foreign prisons without due cause. The group introduced the bill just days after WNBA star Brittany Griner was freed when the U.S. made a prisoner exchange with Russia. March 9th was chosen because it marks the day when former federal agent Robert Levinson went missing in Iran in 2007. I'm Lisa Taylor.
Oregon Governor Kate Brown has commuted all 17 of the state's death row inmates to life in prison. Brown says justice is not advanced by taking a life. A moratorium has been in place preventing executions from being carried out in Oregon. Brown says she made the decision because the death penalty is immoral. Jay Leno is opening up about the car fire that left him with second and third degree burns last month.
The fuel line was clogged, so I was underneath it trying to clog it. And I said, blow some air through the line. That suddenly, boom, I got a face full of gas. And then the pilot light jumped and my face caught on fire.
In an interview with NBC News, the comedian said he was doing mechanical work on a vintage car with a friend of his when he was suddenly hit with gas from the fuel line. The car's pilot light then ignited the fuel, with Leno's friend immediately smothering the fire. Leno has recently returned to performing. And Kansas City is one step closer to launching a pilot program for reparations for its black residents. KCTV reports that a recently filed ordinance is currently in the city's special committee for legal review. The ordinance states the city's intent is to make amends for its part in the enslavement of black people, historical enforcement of segregation, and accompanying discriminatory practices. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work.
Sorry, I'm late.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Is that a
faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking the truth. Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this Hump Day Wednesday or Whip 'em Out Wednesday or whatever you want to deem this to be appropriate for what the hell you have going on today. That is for sure. Anyways, taking it from the top of the shit list because that's what we talk about, the things that are going on inside of the world, inside of the multiverse, inside of the, let's see, downward spiral. So think about it in that fashion. Anyways, as reported yesterday, disgraced FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested on various charges of fraud and money laundering. He was supposed to testify to Congress on Tuesday, but reportedly remotely was supposed to be the way that he was going to do it. Of course, his arrest precluded the testimony appearance. On Tuesday, Forbes published the text and outlined the testimony of SBF was going to give where he was to appear. Here's some highlights. SBF accuses management of forcing him to rush into bankruptcy as a pretext to pay millions of dollars to law firm Sullivan and Cromwell, which is the managing company of the bankruptcy. SBF rejects the assertion that FTX is insolvent and that his new management is lying when they say that it's not. SBF says that the reports are hard partying culture at FTX are untrue, and that there has never been that he's never been drunk and has been on antidepressants for the last decade. He's never been drunk. I think that's a hard one. I mean, I think that's an interesting one for people to say. Anyways, meanwhile, major FTX competitor Binance, which is another crypto exchange that provides similar services to FTX, paused customer withdrawal of funds on Tuesday after the company saw nearly $2 billion taken out by customers in the preceding 24 hours. But the reps of the company say that they are properly managing the funds to cover all withdrawals and are being able to do so. Even when a flood of customers take out money, it's just business as usual. So hold on. Think about this for a moment. You have $2 billion that have been withdrawn, and all of a sudden other people that are your customers have some moolah inside of there, and you have opted now to turn around and go, didn't say the magic word, and you cannot take out your money. That's going to leave some concern for some people as that does move forward. I mean, I don't care how you think about it, but it's the truth.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. Geologists in Hawaii have formally declared that the active volcano Mauna Loa has stopped erupting as in Kilauea. So Mauna Loa reactivated on November the 27th after nearly 4 decades of relative being quiet, but fortunately never caused significant threat. Can you imagine that? No activity going on for 4 decades and something starts talking. I mean, think about it. Nothing's been going on. You know, you just seen the thing there and voila, there you go. Anyway, so let's talk about this. Vaccine maker Moderna says they'll produce a cancer-fighting drug that reduces the relapse and death risk by 44% when combined with Merck's Keytruda treatment. Results of the study have not yet been peer-reviewed. If ultimately approved, it would be the first mRNA vaccine on the market after the ones that were developed to combat COVID. So it'd be interesting to see what exactly would go on there. Think about that for a moment as we are talking. Anyways, Antonio Romero Montero has been certified as the owner of the world's largest video game collection with more than 24,000 titles under one roof. Montero also holds the record for the most items each for Xbox, PlayStation, Sega, and Nintendo systems, which include a mismatch of consoles, controllers, and accessories. Montero says that he has dedicated air conditioning unit to his collection room and uses inventory systems to track everything. He says that he has 98 games to go before owning every game made by Nintendo DS. It's about 1,700 games before owning the complete collection of all the games made in North America. Okay, so let's talk about it real quick because, what the hell are you doing with your time? If you have that kind of gameage going on, do you have anything else going on in your life? I'm not picking on you. I'm just asking a question because I really want to understand. And the other question to ask right away is, have you played every single game that you own? Because isn't that kind of pointless to own something that if you don't get to use it? I'm just asking the question. Something right there. Okay, United Airlines is looking to significantly upgrade its fleet after placing an order of 100 787 Dreamliners, along with the option to buy 100 more. The order makes it for the largest wide-body commercial airplane purchase ever. The first round of the 100 planes will be delivery starting in 2024 and will continue through 2032. That's a long delivery process. Are you expecting money up front? Because here's the thing. If I order those planes now, you start delivering in 2024 through 2032. Am I paying prices for today or prices in 2032, or do I get to pay whichever one's lower? Because, I'm kind of curious about that stuff. I don't want to be paying all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm already pissed off enough thinking about, that I'm going to have to pay more money for the Cybertruck than what I originally reserved it for. So I can't even imagine what a plane would cost in that particular regards, and, how pissed off people are going to be about that. Think about it. There's just no way around it. What else would you think about when it comes to that? So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's time to bring in some John Small and let him tell us about what the hell is going on inside of the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, December 14th, 2022. Equity started the day strong following a cooler-than-expected CPI report, which showed consumer-level inflation cooled more than expected at the core and headline levels, and on a year-over-year basis, but remain hot nonetheless. The reality of the inflation situation and its impact on the FOMC and the S&P 500 earnings outlook capped gains and caused the market to move lower and close near the low of the day. The takeaway for investors is that resistance to higher prices is still strong and keep the index from breaking out of its current range. Today is the next potential catalyst for the market. The FOMC is expected to hike interest rates, but at a slower pace than before, and it may confirm the idea that inflation has peaked. In this scenario, the S&P 500 could surge again, and this time break above the 4,100 level and extend the rebound to a multi-month high. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com.
Okay, thanks, John Smalls, for that. It is currently 23 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing our thing. Yeah, we're hanging out and doing our thing. That sounds right. Okay, so here's what I found. The Dow added about 103 points to close at 34,108 on Tuesday. The S&P added about 29 points to close at 4,019, as the NASDAQ added about 113 points to close at 11,256. West Texas Intermediate closed at $75 a barrel. Brent crude picked up about $80 in total, so it ticked up right there to about $80 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.24 on Tuesday, and Bitcoin surged to more than $500 on Tuesday, trading over 17,700. There were 4,431 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Tuesday, and about 397 cancellations. It's starting to look now like Tuesday might not be a really good day to fly either if you start really thinking about it, because I do normally say that Tuesday looks like a good day, but apparently it's not. It's natty-yaddy. That's the way to take a look at it. Anyways, let's talk real quick about some things that are going on inside of the world of the charts, because I think that that's important to do. So here you go. top fiction and nonfiction books currently on the New York Times bestsellers list, taking it from the top to the bottom to the top, going into the fiction category. At number 5 was The Boys from Biloxi. At number 4, Verity. At number 3, It Ends With Us. At number 2, It Starts With Us. And at number 1, A World of Curiosities. So there you go. That's going into the fiction category. If we're going into the nonfiction category, it sounds something like this. At number 5, it's Surrender. At number 4, it's The Body Keeps the Score. At number 3, I'm Glad My Mom Died. At number 2, Friends, Lovers, and The Big Terrible Thing. And at the number 1 spot, The Light We Carry. So there you go. The Light We Carry. What a name, The Light We Carry. So a lot of stuff going on right there as we are going on inside of there. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. Facebook is being sued for over $2 billion for accusations the company played a role in political violence in Africa. Mark Mayfield reports.
A lawsuit was filed in Kenya, where Facebook opened a content moderation hub for parts of Eastern and Southern Africa in 2019. It accuses the company of monetizing the viral potential of hate and violence in Ethiopia, which violates over 10 articles of Kenya's constitution. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, so there you go. Some interesting stuff coming out of there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Anyways, a top lawmaker is asking the National Archives to take a look at former President Trump's storage unit. Brian Shook has more.
Carolyn Maloney said she thinks more records may turn up that were not the focus of the earlier Mar-a-Lago FBI search and therefore weren't ever turned over to the federal government. It follows a Washington Post report that a Trump-hired outside team found at least 2 classified items in his storage unit or one of his properties. I'm Brian Shook.
Okay, thank you, Brian, for that one. Take a listen to this. Airlines are optimistic this holiday travel rush will not repeat of the summer travel mess. United CEO Scott Kirby predicts smooth sailing. I thought that we were talking about airways here.
Is running basically the best operation we ever had.
Kirby says that it's a combination of airlines setting more reasonable flight schedules and more staffing for the FAA. He says the 2 factors mean that more buffer is built into the system, but be warned, bad weather will always lead to cancellation and delays. Scott Kirby also says the airline industry is running efficiently.
More buffer built into the system.
So there you go. A buffer means efficiency is what it sounds like based on what the hell he's saying. That's for sure. Take a listen to this real quick. The U.S. health experts are worried about three-handed monster of flu, RSV, and COVID is going to get worse throughout the country. Mark Mayfield has more.
While RSV rates are flat for the time being, influenza and COVID rates are rising. At least 47 states are experiencing high or very high respiratory virus activity. This as drugstores across the U.S. report the possibility for shortages of over-the-counter medicine. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, take a listen to this real quick because you might be interested. Okay, that's right there. The NASA Perseverance rover has captured the first sound of the Martian dust devil. Scientists released the audio on Tuesday, a dust devil passing directly over Mars. This new study says that the whirlwind was about 400 feet high and spinning about 25 miles per hour and passed over NASA's rover back in September of 2021. The co-author of the study says the microphone of the Mars rover is turned on for less than 3 minutes each day, and it's definitely luck that there was able to capture audio. The recording will help scientists understand atmospheric turbulence on Mars. Let's take a listen one more time. Pay real close attention. I'm not going to scream. I won't do that to you. There you go. That's the sound. That's the sound that you just got from Mars. Don't you feel like you're entirely moved in regards of what's going on? Oh, there you go. Anyways, Florida is taking aim at the alleged pandemic-related wrongdoings in court. Natalie Rodriguez has more information.
Saying a petition with the Supreme Court of Florida to impanel a statewide grand jury to investigate any and all wrongdoing in Florida with respect to COVID-19 vaccines.
Governor Ron DeSantis, in a roundtable discussion today with prominent medical leaders, including Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo, said the news should be of no shock to anyone because in Florida, it is illegal to mislead and to misrepresent in the efficacy of drugs, period. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with this roundtable, that is for sure. Anyways, it's been a hot minute, so let's do another hot minute because it's been a minute since the hot minute, so let's do it in this fashion. Let's go ahead and do some tech roundup because I think that's going to be important.
Raced young crypto king is in jail in the Bahamas after learning of the charges against him in the U.S. Federal prosecutors in New York City say the former CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, stole billions of dollars from customers since 2019 and up until the company collapsed.
This investigation is very much ongoing, and it is moving very quickly.
That's U.S. Attorney Damian Williams. Bankman-Fried faces 8 charges, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud on customers and conspiracy to commit money laundering. He faces 115 years in prison if convicted on all counts. The U.S. is moving to get him extradited, but Bankman-Fried says he may try and fight it. The world's largest crypto exchange saw nearly $2 billion in withdrawals earlier in the week. Data from Nansen reported investors pulled $1.9 billion from Binance. And Twitter cleaning out its San Francisco headquarters. Dozens of items will be auctioned off next month, such as a 3-foot bird statue and a giant planter in the shape of the @ symbol. Tech Report, Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Wow, it sounds like the tech report sounded very similar to like the money report in regards of what the hell is going on. So that should tell you something in regards of what is happening. Take a listen to this real quick. The Pueblo City Council is removing discussion about abortion ordinance from their agenda. Take a listen.
We knew when we were drafting the bill that there was going to be counties or cities that would try to challenge it. I didn't think it would be Pueblo. For the reasons I stated before, Pueblo County voters have repeatedly stood up for reproductive health measures.
That was Democratic State Representative Diana Esgar. The council member narrowly voted to indefinitely table the ordinance, which would keep abortion services from being allowed to operate within the city limits. The council move also took away the chance of dozens of people to speak during the hearing. The proposed ordinance was brought forth in response to the planned abortion clinic in Pueblo. That's in Colorado, just in case if you were wondering. Anyways, we are currently at 31 minutes past the top of the hour, and I think it is close enough to call it for that time that we do our thing that we do right here. And, you know, it's called the main story for a reason. So let's do that right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, Rated R Safety Show, Whip 'em Out Wednesday, and Hump Day, all combined into one thing. Sounds like a fantastic time as we are speaking. So here's the fun part. You know, I will tell you if there's anything that I could say that I love. There's a few things that I do when it comes outside of my family, of course, and this is what I'm talking about here. I love safety. I love technology. I love radio. We won't go into the music stuff and all the other weird stuff that I could go into. But when you start combining some of these things, it always makes it pretty interesting. And I will tell you that when I hear about some changes in technology, I'll get pretty excited to see what they can accomplish within the industry. And I always look at it and go, this could be a good time because we could benefit from this technological advance. But also at the same time, I believe that there is technology that could potentially be hurting you that's out there as we are talking. And listen, I understand that when you hear about new tech, people want to be on the ground floor as they are moving forward and doing all the fun stuff that they get to do with the new tech. But let's talk about this real quick. There is technology that is out there now that can and will track your employees. And what do I mean? I'm not talking about cell phone technology. I'm talking about bands. I'm talking about things that the employee or team member can put on where you can track what they are doing. Now, listen, there are devices that can actually track if somebody's standing properly, if they're bending over not correctly in regards to when they're picking up stuff. But it can go as far as tracking what the person is doing at any point of the day. And listen, I understand that companies believe that they are doing this from the standpoint to help out the employee/team member, where they can track what are the patterns that people see before there is an injury or an incident. Now, listen, I'm pretty sure that you've heard of some of these devices out there because it's not like they're unpopular. They are popular because that's what happens. I will tell you there's some major manufacturers, some brands that you would not expect that are releasing some of these even as early as next year because they are starting to realize that the safety space is a big space that they don't get to play in so much. But here's my question to you. As we speak today, is there anything that you would wear that you would allow your employer to track of you? Like right now, as we are speaking, if your employer gave you a Fitbit, an Apple Watch, a Google Watch, whatever the hell watch you want to incorporate there, and say, listen, we're going to track your day in and day out as you were to wear this, would you be okay with that? Now, it's kind of an interesting one when you think about it because you are a little bit more familiar with the Apple Watch and with the Fitbits of the world as we are speaking. And if you're hesitant about it, what is the reason why you're hesitant? And if you're okay with it, well, why are you okay with it? Now, listen, this tracks everything. It tracks your movement at work, your activity of the things that you do. Because it has a GPS tracker inside of it, it can even determine on when you go into the bathroom or even at times on when you're having sexual activity based on heart rate. Just throwing that out there. Let's be realistic. So if you're not okay with your employer tracking this information, why should we be okay with our team members or employees being requested to wear it? Does the privacy release give you more benefits than actually not? Because here's where I get very confused by this. You know how you say inside of organizations, well, you have a choice and X, Y, and Z occurs. And I look at it and I go, well, if they have a choice, why is it shunned upon if they opt out of being inside of this? Why is it shunned upon if they say, no, I don't want to do it? It gets very weird from time to time when it comes to these things. And are we really at the standpoint that we believe that technology will be able to tell us where our next incident will occur because we have tracked our employees for such a long period of time? Now, listen, I'm going to tell you, some people have said, this is something that you probably should not talk about on your shows because what if you have a vendor, a product manufacturer that wants to sponsor it and have you talk about it? Here's the thing that I'll tell you, and I'll say it because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I only interact with stuff that I believe in, and most of the times products that I've actually used. So think about that as we are talking on this Whip 'em Out Wednesday. That's a way to look at it, for sure.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com for more information. lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
From Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger, from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
More hits to help you work. Because to get rich, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, dude, like I just made so much money that I could just sit around on my ass all day and play video games.
Wait, I forgot about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin rules!
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
A new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, or hear the angel voices all night divine, all night when Christ was born.
Yeah, you are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM and Radio Big. You know, I always hear Eric Cartman in my head when I hear that song. This is Oh Holy Night by Jennifer Horning. Songs readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Yeah, you know, giving you some Christmas music. As we've been doing our gig around here this week. Hey, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Okay, that last portion was a joke. But yeah, you know, people want to get into the spirit. So there you go. Thanks for Jennifer Horning for allowing us to play Oh Holy Night here on this fantastic show. Oh, sorry, on this fantastic station. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that either. I don't even know what to say anymore. So let's get back into the move and the groove of things. It is currently 44 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are doing our fabulous thing on this lovely Wednesday. So let's talk Because, listen, I know that we talk about things, we move around, we do some things, but we need to talk sometimes, all the times, a lot of the times, about our friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support to people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is text the word TALK to 988 or call 988, or you can go to the website at 988lifeline.org. This is one of these conversations that people feel like, oh, there's a month of the year to talk about it. There's a time in the lifetime to talk about it. Yeah, the time in life to talk about this is every day. The time to talk about this is every time that you have the opportunity to do so. And I know that people get all hung up about, we don't want to talk about this sometimes. I know, because people put a stigma with this conversation opposed to bringing it up front and talking about it all the time. And listen, I know things are not wonderful, but you are wonderful. That's the stuff to think about. Things sometimes are not perfect. And that's the stuff that people tend to forget. Is that we need to actually talk about the things that are going on inside of the world, and not everything is perfect. And that is A-okay. Find out more information, go to the website, 988lifeline.org. Anyways, let's continue moving about some stuff that is going on. Let's start shooting some bull. Yeah, shooting some bull and talking about some stuff. Take a listen to this. The family history of the brand Find My Pass was unveiled, the most festive themed baby names throughout the history, with some surprises like Sprout and Tinsel. Yeah, making the cut. The team's scoured throughout more than 14 billion digitized historical documents dating back into the 1500s. Not that they digitized them back in the 1500s, just to make sure. Ivy was found to be the most popular festive theme name, with almost 2.5 million people given the name in the records. Other festive baby names that still common today include Angel, which occurred 650,000 times in the records, and Holly, which is about 460,000 times. Now, the interesting ones were some of the more unique festive themed first names include Christmas, Turkey, Present, Santa, Chestnut, and Wine. Yeah, imagine you're getting named that. Hey, Chestnut, come here. So let's see, all of them which made up the top 10. Outside of the top 10, a total people, 7,000 people were named Sprout and Cracker were discovered in the records, and plus 579 babies called Snowman, 2015 named Mistletoe, and 293 called Bubble. Oh, and 37 lucky babies been christened Eggnog. Gee, I wonder what dad was drinking right at the time that the kid was born. What do you want to name the kid? Eggnog. That's the way to go. I mean, imagine that. And suddenly I don't feel so bad about having the middle name Blitzen when it's all said and done. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. Anyways, let's talk about some toilet humor because it is Wednesday. What? Yeah. In an experiment using bright green laser camera equipment, scientists from the University of Colorado Boulder were able to visualize airborne particles invisible to the naked eye that are shot into the air when the lidless toilets and flush. While it's been known for decades, there are tiny particles that are released into the air upon flushing. The study shows the first directly visualization of this. This measures the fast and how far the particles spread. Scientists found that in just 8 seconds, the particles can spread about 6.6 feet per second, reaching 5 feet above the toilet, with the bigger droplets landing on the surface within seconds and the smaller ones lingering in the air for minutes or longer. Let's see. The particles can transport pathogens, including bacteria, viruses, and microorganisms that can cause disease, which has the potential of exposure risks to public bathrooms, as if you often flush the public bathrooms. I mean, I'm just saying. So think about that the next time you're going into a public bathroom. 5 feet into the air, particles are going all over the place, and it could be coming from your neighbor. Oh, that's something to think about it. Also, researchers in the University of London have found that the curse words in most languages sound alike. Across the unrelated languages, swear words are less likely than other words include the consonant sounds of L, R, W, and Y. And more family-friendly version of the curse often of these sound just like a darn or frick. Another thing that the swear words or different languages tend to have in common is they often are short and punchy. They also tend to include the sounds P, T, and K. Why? One researcher says that these sounds are called stop consonants because they interrupt the airflow when you're speaking. The finding suggests that some underlying rules may link the world languages to no matter how different they do sound. Someone is actually paying for these guys to study swear words because I know a few guys that could give you a clinic when it's all said and done. I mean, I just do. All of my brother-in-laws are sailors, so there you go. If you need some stuff, let me know because I can get that moving and grooving for you. Anyways, I think it's time to bring in some motivation into our life, so let's bring in some John Smalls and go from there.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Dirk. Mark Twain said, "The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why." I love this quote. The day you were born. Now, we all have that one. But sadly, there are far too many people who have never experienced the second one. The day we find out why. Have you found your life's purpose? It doesn't have to be some grand thing like curing cancer, although that would be an amazing purpose. I discovered what I think I'm supposed to be doing on this planet. I strive to make people happy each and every day. If I can put a smile on the face of somebody who needs it, that makes me happy to the core, and I absolutely love that. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Typically, when we sit down to eat a meal, we tend to eat until we're totally stuffed. And although this brings a short-term feeling of satisfaction, it is not the best thing for our health. However, eating to only 80% fullness helps hunger hormone ghrelin to stay activated between the meals because without the feeling of fullness, it rises faster and remains elevated longer to activate fat-burning mechanisms. Additionally, when ghrelin stays elevated for a longer time, it increases the density of neural synapses, meaning that the cells are able to send faster signals to one another. These are just some of the immediate benefits of finishing the meals at 80% fullness, and it is one of the easiest ways to enjoy food and also help the body to stay in fat-burning mode throughout the day. For more information on wellness, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to be something, all right. There is no doubt about that. Anyways, let's talk real quick about our event that's coming up, the Safety Differently Workshop, coming to you in Santa Fe, New Mexico. If you want to come and hang out in the month of March with us, it'll be hosted by Todd Conklin, Mark Yeston, Martha Acosta, Bob Edwards, and yours truly. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io, and we can go from there. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on during that time. And, you know, it's going to be a fun time, us being able to hang out and doing it all coming to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are moving forward. Anyways, with that being said, 53 minutes past. Let's get moving and grooving because we have limitado time. So let's do what's going on. Let's see. Let's talk about this. New York firefighters are still working to put out an NYPD warehouse fire in Brooklyn that burned for days. The NYPD chief Jeffrey Madry says the biological evidence is stored at the facility, along with e-bikes, impounded vehicles, and historical vehicles.
Things from past crimes, burglaries, maybe shooting incidents.
Sources say the New York Daily News, the infernos have been started yesterday by a lithium-ion battery and is being stored on a shelf. The fire ended up destroying evidence collected by the police, meaning that the prosecution of some of these criminal cases could be at risk. Several people, mostly first responders, were hurt due to the fire, but they were expected to be okay. Also, Marjorie says that once the fire is out, authorities will have to investigate to figure out the damages. Chief John, or FDNY Chief John Hodgkins fireboat are being used to extinguish the blaze as the Erie Basin Auto Pond in Brooklyn.
Water in from the outside from our fireboats, and it's difficult because we don't have access to there's not a lot of openings in this building. It's a sealed off building.
Yeah, the NYPD chief also says that there is a damaging fire.
We won't really know the magnitude of what was destroyed in there until we have an opportunity to look at the envoys and see what was in there and then see what we can salvage, and then we'll go from there.
I think that, yes, the fire was damaging. Some things to think about. There is no doubt about that. So take a listen to this because I want to talk about it real quick. The risk of severe storm is expected to continue across the deep south today. NBC meteorologist Angie Lasman has more.
9 million are at risk for this. We'll add on the potential for some strong winds as well, with gusts up to 70 miles per hour. And we can't rule out those stronger tornadoes as well. A couple of these could be in question here as we get into the afternoon hours. And the long track tornadoes also a possibility.
Damaging winds and tornadoes are possible through the southeastern Louisiana to the Florida Panhandle, and a flash flooding are possible from the Gulf Coast to the Tennessee Valley. Tornadoes in the south left a trail of destruction on Tuesday, killing a boy in Louisiana and injuring at least 20 people in the Union Parish. In Texas, at least 5 people were injured with a tornado ripped through a Dallas suburb, and 2 were injured by a twister near Fort Worth. Meteorologist Angie Lasman with more about the threat.
Potential for excessive rainfall with these training showers and thunderstorms moving through parts of this area, Louisiana extending into Mississippi and Alabama. That is where we will watch for the flash flooding concerns.
Angie also says the storm is on the move.
It's winter weather as well that we're going to have to watch for in parts of the Midwest and the Northeast as we go into the weekend. Those will be some ice accumulations and some wintry conditions that we'll have to deal with and contend with as we head through the next couple of days.
Okay, so a lot of stuff going on out there. Be careful as you are going around and about. Let's talk real quick about some things that happened back on this date. Taking a look around back in 2020, the U.S. begins administering Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine as the total death count of the virus goes up to 300,000. We're looking at some birthdays for today. DK Metcalf turns 25. Tori Kelly turns 30. Offset turns 31. Vanessa Hudgens turns 34. Alex Gardneth turns 35. Mike Fuentes, 38. Michael Owens, 43. Miranda Hart, 50. James Cormie turns 62. And Cliff Williams, from AC/DC fame, turned 73 today, just in case if you were wondering. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you today. It's Free Shipping Day. I don't know if everybody's participating in that one, that's for sure. Roasted Chestnut Day, and National Day of something I'm never going to be able to pronounce. So there you go. Yeah, National is something I'm never going to be able to pronounce, and that is not a lie. That's what it's called. So don't shoot the messenger. What else do we have going on? Let's take a look real quick. Let me give you some whack facts real quick. It costs about $290,000 per year in fees to run a hot dog cart near the Central Park Zoo in New York City. In average of film, male actors utter 10 times more as many profanities as female actors. The longer a couple dates before marrying, the less likely the marriage is to end in divorce. Cows get hairballs. In virtually every language, the word mother begins with the word M. Extreme ironing. Yes, extreme ironing actually is a sport in which people take ironing boards to remote locations and, yes, iron items of clothes. That is not a lie. So there you go. Anyways, if you needed a random joke for today, here's one. The shirt I'm wearing is dry clean only, which means it's dirty. Let's see. Which procrastinist from a book for a movie would make the worst roommates? That's the one for the phone starter. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. 1 in 10 people say that they like to be buried with this when they pass away. What is it? their smartphone. I guess for nobody to check the search history of what the hell was going on. Anyways, I'll be going over to RadioBig.fm to go into hour 2 of this thing if you want to come and hang out with me as I go to do that thing. If not, you can keep it locked here on Safety FM as Sheldon Primus is about to come in and do the stuff that he does on this side of the equation. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Some people say that you are going the wrong way when it's simply the way on your own. That's why they say that. Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.